Welcome to Weekly Wednesday Warrior, sponsored by Pow Card Games and Comics here in bright, relatively sunny Port U in New York. My name is Skylar Hathaway.
I'm Chris Potter. Today on the show, we're going to be talking...
I didn't get to... Hey, Chris, what do we got on docket today?
Okay. We're going to be talking about X-Force 94.
We got X-Force 94.
We have X-Force 94.
We got X-Force 94.
This is X-Factor.
We got
X-Factor
94. And for you readers out there that are not accustomed to X-Force, or rather X-Factor 94,
These are our back issues.
we have plenty at the shop. Come on down. Come get your... No, we're not doing that. I just dropped one of those on the... Well, you know, whatever. There's like 100 of these, literally everywhere. All right, Chris, what are we actually doing on this show?
We got Moon Knight 27, Joker 10, and Batman 137.
Let's go.
Yeah. And then we got a couple honorable mentions to start us off.
Yeah. Me and Chris, we were intending on doing. Batman was supposed to be first, and then I talked Chris out of it and swapped Moon Knight first. So I'm interested in getting to Batman when we do get to it, because it sounds like we've, for probably the first time ever, have two different reviews on this Batman book.
Yeah.
But what you got for honorable mentions?
All right, so
X-Factor 94.
Yeah. So the first one is Birds of Prey 1. I can't speak to the writing on this, but Leonardo Romero is a completely unique talent in this industry.
Killing it.
He's emulating a style no one else is. Much more 80s based, different coloring style too. They're adding some grain to his art. It looks really nice.
Jordi
Belair doing a great job.
Jordi Belair is a great artist.
The action scenes look good. This is a book to pick up solely because it just looks like nothing else on the wall.
Yeah.
To support this artist and get him on another book.
Yeah.
At some point.
Also all-female team.
Yeah.
Also some characters we never see. Like
some fun picks. Zealot from Wildcats. That's
a
random one.
It's a real deep cut.
I feel like if they are picking them, they must have a story to tell with that character. The Wildcats characters don't get any play unless someone has a fondness for them.
Yeah, it stands out to me that the person who's writing this is obviously a fan of the characters they're playing with.
Yes.
Otherwise, I don't think this would even be a book on the wall. Honestly, I really thought that the writer on this was somebody else, because Birds of Prey books don't sell that well.
No.
So I thought that the writer was like some big writer that was going to sell this book based on their name, and totally isn't.
Yeah, I feel like in some circles Kelly Thompson is. I hear about Kelly Thompson a lot. I've never read a book by them. I think they just wrapped up Captain Marvel.
They didn't do
which is
any
a book I never
X-Men
read.
stuff that you read?
Maybe in the past, not any of the recent X-Men books.
I feel like she was dancing around with Stephanie
I
Phillips.
think
and
she did the
Kate
last
Howard
Rogue and Gambit series, which is not something...
If she didn't, it was definitely Stephanie Phillips, but it might have also been Kelly Thompson.
Because there was two somewhat recently, one before the Hickman stuff and one during it.
Yeah. And another one or two right before that as well.
Right.
So Birds of Prey, cool stuff. Didn't make it on the list, but
no.
Good stuff.
And then I got Shazam 3. This is a book Skylar just has no interest in, but it's Mark Waid Gay Moore, same team as World's Finest, who we talk about all the time. This is a great cover by, I think this is Somni. Yeah, Somni.
Chris Samney.
Having a lot of fun with Tony Tiger or something. It's like some Captain Marvel character from the 40s that is a lot of fun.
I dig on Dan Mora. If I had the time in my life to just read whatever comics or like pay $5 for cool Samney covers, I would be reading that book, but I don't. So,
yeah, and like you don't have a Shazam collection either. You're not continuing your long tradition of reading Shazam.
Nope, and Mark Waid pisses me off, so I know better than to read that title. But those are still some good picks. Like if I was looking at the wall of this week, those would probably be my honorable mentions. All of my honorable mentions are from last week.
Right.
They're all the books that we didn't get to do last week, which are Sean Murphy's Plot Holes, which I haven't had an opportunity to talk to Chris with about. Otherwise, this might have actually made it on the show.
Huh?
This book is cool. It's really similar to like Local Man and Something Epic in the way that it's playing with the medium for like plot reasons.
Right.
The whole thing here is there's a bunch of discontinued characters that escape their universes, and they're trying to bring redemption to other universes, other works of fiction that are going to end up being discontinued. So they act as kind of the fillers of plot holes to go in and repair timelines and stuff, so that these works of fictions can still live, can still breathe, can still be successful. Similarly, in Something Epic, we were just in a world where we were surrounded by fiction constantly.
Yeah.
So I saw some immediate parallels, and I thought that was really cool conceptually. That these two dudes who are both working on creator-owned books, drawn, written by themselves,
right,
are being inspired by similar parts of the industry.
And I think Murphy's book predates Something Epic, because he's been advertising this forever.
Yeah.
He kickstarted it first, I think.
This character on the cover here has been a character I've seen Sean Murphy draw for years.
Yeah.
So
it's some kind of... He did like some kind of crowdfunding campaign, and then every con I've been to, which is only one to be fair, but last year he had like an artist edition of plot holes that he was selling.
Yeah.
And I very nearly picked it up.
Yeah.
So he's been drumming up excitement for this book this whole time.
Yeah.
I'm definitely interested in it.
And you can tell by if you know Sean Murphy at all, you follow him on Instagram or anything.
He doesn't do things he's not.
You can tell simply by the pages how excited he is to do it. There are far more cars in this comic book than is necessary.
Oh, cool.
It's a book called Plot Holes. It's about filling in fictional universes.
Yeah.
Why would there need to be a car in any of the panels?
Yeah.
But there's like 30 cars in this book. So he's having a lot of fun, it shows, and so we're going to have a lot of fun because he's having a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And the only thing that I would say negatively about the whole book is the art is only a little lazy, but it's lazy in the term normal Sean Murphy stuff. If a character's far enough in the background, he's not going to draw their facial features.
No.
If a character's far enough in the background, he might not even do much outside of design, like in stuff. If he needs to fill a background, probably going to put a car there. There's just a few things that are, I think, a little lazy. He is doing this to himself. He's not working for DC, where DC's going to tell you have to do certain things.
Yeah. No splash pages, page one.
So you would watch, but it still came through. It's still really good. I believe this was a $4 book too, so it's not $5, which makes it worth picking up for that reason as well.
And is Image publishing this?
Massive. Some indie publisher, I think, that goes around buying Kickstarters.
Okay.
And gives them actual publishing. So I'm psyched for Plot Holes. I think this book is great. I think anybody who's a Sean Murphy fan should pick it up just because it's exactly what you'd expect. He's going to be doing a Zorro book real soon that I'm the opposite of excited for.
Yeah.
I'm not a Zorro fan, nor have I ever been a Zorro fan. I'll look at it. I'll pick it up and check it out. It's Sean Murphy, but... Yeah. I'm going to read this. I don't know if I'm going to read Zorro. I don't know if he can deliver anything that I would care about in Zorro. Whereas I love Local Man, I love Something Epic, and Plot Holes is in that same relative realm. This is a cool concept. After that, I got Blade. I ain't going to spend too much time on this. This is just dope comics.
Yeah.
Like vampires killing people and doing some weird nightmarish cool stuff. The first variant was by Frank Miller. The second variant is by Bill Sienkiewicz.
Oh, shit.
Brian Edward Hill's writing it. That dude writes screenplays now. He's very capable. The artist on this is somebody also very capable. And I would totally know if this were on the show, but I forgot to make a note of who's drawing this thing. Atlanta Casa Grande. I actually was going to say that, but I didn't want to say it because I thought it was wrong. Really capable stuff. This isn't super in depth, but it is in depth in the way that you want to know what's happening next, and that there is definitely a good, ongoing, easily followable story that you don't need to know who Blade is really prior to reading the book either. So this is, and I compliment that to Brian Edward Hill's writing capability again, because that guy knows how to write a book that if you don't know who the character is, he's going to expose you to the character and still deliver you a good story on top of that.
Yeah.
Very capable stuff. All of these books were last week. Last week was a pretty bad week, but there were 3 good titles. Third one would be Local Man. This was the best of the 3. It just kept up consistency. Did you get a chance to read this?
I have not. I actually didn't know Local Man came out.
Yeah, it's a one-shot to keep us fed.
Is it like a crossover thing? Because that looks like the what was the?
They're technically all crossovers.
Yeah, but that looks like the Image Valiant crossover. I think it was called Shattered Blood or something.
I can promise you, Chris. They don't do this for no reason.
Okay.
They have yet to do one of these stupid covers for no reason. There's always been a reason so far. There's definitely they're playing on something here. Unfortunately, all that I remember about this was that it was sweet. I don't want to summarize it since this was a last week issue. This totally would have made it. I know if we would have had the time last week, I know me and Chris would have beat this one up.
Yeah.
So you should definitely pick this up. It's a one-shot anyway. Get your prep for the next story arc of Local Man that should be coming in about a month or two. Tim Seeley's the man. Tony Fleeks is the man. And
it's the same team still?
It's still Fleeks and Seeley. I believe the artist might have changed, but I know that it's still Fleeks and Seeley
writing duties.
And it's a lot of fun. It's very 90s, but like taken to the best 2023 context possible.
Right.
Really homaging some of your favorite comics from that time period and doing a favor to the industry at the moment. I could talk about Local Man for an hour and a half. So we're going to move on. We got our honorable mentions out of the way. We're going to hit Moon Knight. Let me summarize this because I think it's pretty simple.
Here's the cover.
Yeah, let's throw up some covers. Thanks for keeping us on track.
Oh, which one do you have?
It's Elena Casagrada.
Oh, cool.
The lady who's doing Blade.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Again, here's an example of the lady who's doing Blade's artwork. It's solid. I like what they did with the shield too. I'm not even really sure what's supposed to be going on, but I think it's creative.
Yeah,
it looks cool. So Moon Knight 27. Mark goes over to Badir, our other Fist of Khonshu, and asks for help. Similarly to the first issue of City of Madness, City of Shadows.
Yeah.
City, what's it called? City of the Dead? I think it's City of the Dead.
Maybe.
Where in City of the Dead, he shows up to Badir. He's like, Badir, I need help. Badir's like, okay, cool, I'm going to put you under, and then you're going to go to the City of the Dead.
Yeah.
In this one, Badir's like, okay, I'm going to put us both under.
Yeah.
And we're going to go to the City of this guy's brain.
Using some villain's sweat.
So that was established earlier and I could swallow it.
Yeah.
You remember there was a dude, he was in a house and he was like
Howley?
Yeah, it was way earlier in this run. He was like a janitor or whatever or something, and Moon Knight thought something else was going on, and then he realized that it was this one dude controlling all these people.
Using his sweat.
And then he went to go and find Holly, and he found Holly in this house or whatever, and then like I don't remember how it went down. Holly's popped up earlier. He's a Moon Knight classic.
Yeah.
He's a Moon Knight staple, and I can't say that like this has not been cemented already. So. This dude, his sweat lets him control people. A little strange.
Yeah.
Also,
and
really vague rules-wise, right? Because perspiration can happen, and you can perspirate outward. So if you are sweating and your sweat is drying, and somebody else is breathing, I don't know that you can't just control people that are around you and stuff. In any case, it's really strange, right?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm definitely going to hit that.
And also, like, he's in like a coma or something. They use his sweat on the guy they want to enter his brain into, who's also in a coma.
Yes.
And so they all take his sweat so that Howie, who's in a coma,
they're using
him as like a way to get into his brain.
Conduit to enter this other villain's brain.
Yeah.
The other villain's name is Vibro.
Yeah.
Vibro had been menacing Moon Knight in the last issue, right?
I think so.
Something like that.
He was menacing Black Spectre. Black Spectre fought him. They did that like one shot where he's talking to
Badir found him in the underground, right?
Yeah.
With the mole.
And he's talking to the therapist about his experiences or whatever.
Right, and then he takes Vibro out in the prior issue, and now Vibro's out and Howley's out.
Yes.
They're both asleep. I don't remember if they're in the same place or not. That's not that important. They can enter their brain. I don't know they need to physically be there. This isn't science. None of this is science. We're going to skip over this.
It barely makes magical sense,
it makes
it's fine.
Because we're fucking Moon Knight here. So the two Moon Knights are taking some sweat drug. They're getting passed out. They're using Howley as a conduit to go into Vibro's brain. They go into Vibro's brain because they're trying to figure out the information that Vibro knows, because in Vibro being a classic villain, he dropped that he was he was working with Black Spectre, who's the man who's puppeteering this whole downfall of Moon Knight. So, we're in Vibro's mind. There was a dude, his name's Anton. He's running away from about 100,000 made-up Vibros.
Yeah.
Mark summons his other consciousnesses to save Anton, while Mark and Badir take down the Vibros. Anton gets saved and starts talking to Jake and Steven. Tells Jake and Steven all about his dirty past and what has happened and where Black Spectre is and all of the stuff we need to know, all the context we could possibly be delivered by this man. Then Jake and Steven tell Mark after Mark is done beating on some vibros. Badir takes down the vibros or whatever. Mark goes to help Anton. They discover that Anton is really just a good residual feeling of who he was before he became vibro.
Yeah.
It's like his inner subconscious is represented by this guy Anton. And then they leave Anton there. They escape the brain because they have all the information they need. And friggin', we get to the end of the thing, and there's a quick splash page where Black Spectre's hanging out with a bunch of Moon Knight Rogues Gallery guys.
Yeah.
And they're like,
we need to move up our timetable.
Our dude Vibro's down. We can't handle this. We gotta act upon this immediately. And that's the end of the issue. This might be the cheesiest Moon Knight issue I think I've read in 27 issues.
Right.
This was ham-fisted.
Yeah, it was not great.
You have to swallow so much to
again,
just keep reading, and it's not Cappuccio doing the art.
That's what I was gonna say.
That was not an easy swallow with everything you were already giving me. The fact that this Ports is in Sabatini.
Yeah.
Poor Sabatini is.
Yeah, he was very competent. I felt.
And
he's just not.
Not only that, but I think
Cappuccio.
he's at this point. I think he's even trying to emulate Cappuccio.
Yeah, they have a similar inking style.
I would say when he first got on here and he was doing fill-ins, it was night and day. You could tell which one was Sabatini, which one was Cappuccio. This issue, it seemed like he was just trying to pour Cappuccio on. And I was not a fan. Because Cappuccio's got such a, I'd compare him to maybe Bill Sienkiewicz, I guess. Messy shit. Messy stuff.
Yeah.
But it has such form and such layout, such strong background, that even with the crazy messy lines, what appears once the guy is done is the image that was underneath everything.
I don't even think Cappuccio's lines are messy. I think it's more he used a lot of texture in his work. And that his actual lines are somewhat controlled.
Or maybe the lines don't look messy, but it looks messy.
Yes.
So,
and here we have this other guy. He's doing a messier inking style. He's trying some stuff with textures. I noticed a lot. He was doing a smear ink effect. And it looks fine, but it's just not the best issue paired with a fill-in artist on a book where, you expect a certain style.
Yeah. Then not only that, but
fill-in artists always have it rough. I think back to X-Force when Mike Mignola did an issue, and people were mad that Mike Mignola did an issue.
Yeah.
Perhaps the greatest talent of that era.
Yeah.
Fill-in artists always just have a rough deal in general.
Yeah, it's tough. But the other thing that I think is dragging this book down a little bit is I don't think this book was supposed to go past 25 issues.
Mm-hmm.
I think we're now in kind of I remember you talking about Something is Killing the Children. I think we're in the same situation here. I think dude had 25 issues worth of Moon Knight material.
And it's just...
And is all right, I have to stretch this out. I know how to write comics. How do I do that? We'll create a Sinister Six, and we'll do the whole villain army, good guy army. We'll drag this battle out.
I think Black Spectre and Zodiac were always the end goal. Maybe not this far in.
Yeah.
I think maybe 25 might have been the end originally. I still think we would do a similar story, maybe not the same.
And I think Jed's kind of fishing too. I think he's
also a lot more strung out than he's ever been. Because when he started on Moon Knight, he was really just writing Black Cat off and on.
Black Cat, Magic, this, and another indie book that I can't remember.
Yeah, and now he's writing a couple more books that kind of require his attention.
Pretty much the same amount of stuff, just different, more important books.
Yeah, Avengers, Doctor Strange. I imagine Avengers at least is taking up a significant amount of his thought process. I imagine he wants to look good there.
There's not much in those books, though. 4 issues in, those have been the simplest books we've gotten on the show.
Yeah, probably. It's still, but I still think
I don't think you're
that's
wrong.
a book he's
I'm not saying you're wrong.
putting a lot of effort into in some way.
I don't know. I feel like it's Doctor Strange right now, which is a shame because he's got Pascal Ferry not doing a good job with art.
That book is really good, by the way. At least the writing of it.
I think the Jason Aaron Avengers run got no fans. And I think they let him do what he wanted to do anyway and finish it out.
Yeah.
And then I think that this new Avengers run is being mandated heavy.
Mm-hmm.
I think Jed McKay is being told what to write to some extent.
Yeah.
I think he's trying to fit his own Kang storyline in here still, and it's just not going well. And I like the book, but I don't think it's what he or the fans want out of the book right now.
Okay.
I think it's what more Marvel wants out of the book right now, because they couldn't tell Jason Aaron what to do. So much so that one tie-in that was supposed to play into I want to say King in Black or something, That was the only book in the whole Jason Aaron run that wasn't written by Jason Aaron.
No,
it
it
still
was,
got a regular number. Whatever the time
Judgment.
Sure.
Because I read that book for.
It was totally Judgment Day. Totally was Judgment. It was really. It should have just been like an Avengers #1 tie, off in the side.
Yeah, no, it was super random. It was about Hawkeye, who's not a character who plays a role in Jason Aaron's book. It was written by a comedy writer mostly.
I have no idea. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
What matters is Jason Aaron doesn't play ball.
Right.
But Jed MacKay, a younger, more willing, more new writer of the scene, is going to have to play ball. But Moon Knight's his territory where he can do what he wants.
Yeah.
This book is one of those books where he can kind of do anything. That's what I mean by I think he's fishing. I think he's trying to lay out the rest of his story as thin as he can while utilizing the artists he's got at his disposal to the best of his ability, and in the process of doing that, fishing for what might come from his own writing. I think he's really all right, what didn't I do yet? What didn't I do yet? And doing that over and over and over and over and over again.
And also, reading this book, you get the sense MacKay has such a great grasp of Moon Knight's history. He'll just randomly bring up shit that he and only he remembers.
Yeah.
So he's definitely just playing on concepts that he remembers enjoying from a story he read.
Yeah. So I don't have a lot of notes on Moon Knight. I thought the intro was confusing with the whole sweats and stuff. I thought the plan was weird. It took 4 pages of lead-in before you even get into the dude's brain. They had to explain everything that was happening.
And it still doesn't make sense. I was really
confused
as to what their whole thing was. If they did the same thing they did in City of the Dead, not saying MacKay even knows what's happening in
he totally does, though, because he wrote that story in 25 so that David Pepose could write the City of the Dead.
Either way, that made more sense to me.
It did.
It was like a ritualistic thing based on Egyptian
thing.
One of the few things I do like in this book has been Badir being, since he's the more dedicated son of Khonshu, he can switch into other Moon Knight's ability sets.
Yeah.
I think it's a cool idea, and he does that in this issue.
And it's causing him a problem too.
Yeah,
which was
that's the whole reason we're in this predicament.
Last issue was great, by the way.
Yeah, that was awesome.
was really good.
The whole reason Vibra's even in a coma is Badir lost control fighting him because he became the caveman Moon Knight or something.
And where's the first appearance of Caveman Moon Knight? Back to that Jason Aaron Avengers run. Jed MacKay actually, in the same boat as I am, is actually a huge fan of the Jason Aaron run. As much as Chris might not like it, I think that Jason Aaron did a lot of favors for other writers that came after him.
Yeah.
He did 75 issues of here's toys to play with, and I'm out. and Moon Knight would not be here.
In that chunk.
Moon Knight would not be. This run of Moon Knight would not be here without Jason Aaron doing all the things that Jason Aaron did.
Yeah.
So every time I see Jed MacKay make a tie to that, it's Jed going, "Thanks, Jason.
Yeah.
I appreciate it, bud." 25 issues in, he's running out of ideas. Let's pull from the run I originally pulled from, right? It's a good idea. So 26 was good. 27, I would almost say that this wasn't a good issue, unfortunately. It was putting in the work. It was putting in, you gotta pay your rent, as I like to say. We got a redemption for Vibro, which was a character I didn't even know existed in Marvel continuity. Really
the issue ends with him deciding he's going to start fighting back against the army of Vibro.
It's totally unimportant and kind of shoved in here and kind of makes me bothered because Jed has to spend a bunch of time on Moon Knight villains already.
Yeah.
Why are we spending time on what we've been told was an Iron Man villain, and then in redemption for that Iron Man villain that we may never see again? Where the hell is 8-Ball?
I feel like he's going to show up next issue. He's haven't had a chance to see him. I think both of them are going to play a role in the finale.
Jed MacKay's no bad writer, so...
This is a Chekhov's gun, wholly.
I really think we're paying our rent here. I think that's what's going on. But the whole thing was kind of cheesy and hard to swallow. So, that's why it's in front here. We both still paid it. Why do you think we should buy this? This is the first dud issue in 27 issues.
Yeah.
And an annual.
Honestly...
Even the Venom issue,
you should have
which
been
I would have said
buying
was
all
a
of
dud,
them.
was still good. Yeah, you should. Yeah, you
should be reading this run. This issue maybe doesn't deserve us to say you should buy this one.
Yeah.
But you should read all 26 issues.
Yeah.
Why would you stop here? This isn't a good pickup issue, but
Yeah. And it does do some good work for Badir. There's almost no Mark Spector stuff.
And you have to think, once you read this whole run together, this whole grand, great story MacKay's been telling, this is gonna fly by. You're not gonna notice that this issue is weaker.
Yeah. Prior to this, my favorite Moon Knight, I'd say the best run on Moon Knight was Jeff Lemire's 14-issue run.
Yeah.
We're now on 27 issues, and I think that this is on par.
Yeah.
Maybe a little bit better than Jeff Lemire's run. The thing about Jeff Lemire's run is that dude had an idea, had like a set amount of issues he needed, and he did it,
He did a
nailed it,
lot.
and did everything he needed to do in that set amount of issues. It was like a Moon Knight epic, like a mini Moon Knight.
Well,
epic.
not only that, like he really, even the TV show is playing heavily from only the Menk and his run.
Yeah.
Like those are the two Moon Knight
Yeah.
books that matter.
Yeah.
You can almost skip everything else, and
Which sucks, because there's plenty of other great Moon Knights.
oh, for sure. I really liked the Houston run, which is the main one I read.
Yeah, and
which
then
had David Fincher.
the guy who wrote after Lemire, the guy who the lead singer to Say Anything.
Yeah.
He,
Charlie.
he did a really good job too, which is surprising because he's not a comic guy. He's like a singer guy, but he
No.
did a really good job on that run.
And there was a good artist on it, I think.
Max Bemis, I think, is the guy's name.
Yeah.
I think about the writer. You got anything to leave off on Moon Knight here, Chris? I think we should move
think so.
on. I think we should move on. Moving right along here to Joker, the man who stopped laughing, number 10. I got this like Gabriel Deodato cover.
That's cool.
Francesco Mattina, sorry.
Oh.
And then he's got the DG Domenico cover.
Yep.
DG Domenico.
Still killing it.
Oh, I wish he was going to New York Comic Con, man.
Yeah,
I'd
I'd be really interested in what his actual physical art looks
I
like.
want to
This
get
is so
pages out of this
digital.
book. Oh, do you think it's digital?
There's no way it's not.
Oh man, I was hoping that he would just be at Comic Con with pages in this.
He might have prints.
There's, I don't want.
He's a Rod Reyes type.
Rod Reyes is he's pen and ink.
He does all his pages digitally. He can do good pen and ink
I've
stuff.
seen him do pen and ink. I believe you, but I've seen the dude do pen and ink. His stuff looks like pen and ink, and then paint.
Yeah.
Wow, man, digital art's come a long way, I guess. That makes me sad. Let me take this moment to talk about the things I don't like about digital art. None of it is how it looks. It's about this being a like advertising medium primarily.
Yeah.
You know, you want to be able to sell as much as you can. By making something digital instead of it on paper, you don't have that opportunity to sell those originals. So I feel like as an artist, in a way, you're doing yourself a disservice. You might be saving yourself time, but you're losing money in a way by doing it. And not only that, but then your fans are also dissatisfied because they can't buy any of your original art.
None of these guys would look like the way they do, though, without working digitally.
I don't
There's
know
so
that.
much.
Jorge looks like he's fine without digital.
Yeah, kind of. He does a lot
They
less.
can do more, maybe, but they look great without the digital stuff. I have a Rod Reyes commission, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's good.
I've seen Jorge Jimenez and stuff, and I think Dan Mora probably does a lot of digital art too, even though he's a pencil pen and ink kind of guy. And I know he's capable outside of digital and stuff. I think it's really just a time saver, and not just a time saver, but it opens your palette to doing like different things you wouldn't be able to do with pen and ink.
Yeah, well, because you're on the monthly grind. Like, I don't know. I feel like half these guys would lose something if you.
You say that, but like
They would lose. Mostly, they would lose being on these books. You would not see them this quality of art on any of this stuff without the advantages they have through digital.
But then you got people like Ivan Heiss.
Yeah.
Ivan Heiss, who he's on these books, and he's not doing digital, and his art
No,
looks good.
but
Great.
it looks good, but it's not. It's very traditional.
Yeah.
He's not fucking around with any real texture stuff. He's doing hatching,
Yeah.
solid blacks.
Yeah.
Not a lot of these guys we're talking about are doing that. None
Not
of these
anymore.
guys almost hatch.
Not anymore.
Um,
And I like it. I ain't taking anything away from anybody. I'm sad that I can't go and buy a Giandomenico page.
Yeah, fair
That's
enough.
a huge downside to me. I'm real sad about it. But in any case, moving on to the more important thing, the actual book. This was similar to Moon Knight, huh? Where I felt like we were paying the rent a little bit.
No, I like this one a lot.
I liked it a lot. It's ahead of Moon Knight.
Right.
But I feel like we were paying the rent. And what I mean by that is, I don't have this solidified, so if you want to do the summary on this, feel free.
Sure. So the main crux of this book is Joker is talking to Black Mask. That's how we begin the book. That's how the book continues.
Right.
Joker,
Right.
he shows up in the middle of a Black Mask goon meeting. We
And how-
kind of pay
How
some.
fitting, too, right? Because the book...
Yeah, we're paying homage to what Chip and Teeny are doing because Black Mask mentions there's a goon shortage.
Totally is. This book is not tied to anything until just now. And
Yeah.
not only that, but it is a payoff also to the book itself, because we're unfortunately effectively restarting the book. after 2 months of hiatus, every book on the wall now has a fresh start.
Yeah.
So this is the restart of the Man Who Stopped Laughing, even though it's not. It's a direct continuation from last issue. Basically ignoring all of the Night Terrors. We don't need to acknowledge it. Joker.
No, and even if you read the Joker and Night Terrors, they were solid, but they didn't do anything.
They were silly.
Even for his character.
Silly. So not only all that, but the first dude who menaces Joker in The Man Who Stops Laughing is Black Mask in issue 1. So there's a bunch of payoffs just by Black Mask being back in the book.
Yeah. And Joker wants to know where the other Joker is. That's the big thing he's asking him. And we get some vignettes through them talking.
Be specific, too. The one who's talking to the Black Mask...
This is the Chicago Joker.
There is no Chicago Joker.
The one who was in Chicago. Started his... Huh?
There's a Los Angeles Joker.
Oh,
and
Los
a Gotham
Angeles?
Joker.
Okay.
This is why I'm trying to keep us on track here, because he's just going to start talking about St. Louis. We've got Gotham Joker, LA Joker. Gotham Joker is the one who's with Black Mask at the moment. And he's trying to get information on LA Joker, not a Black Mask. Why? Because he's got no goons to do this for him. Yeah. Why? Because he hired Wesker. Why? Because Wesker's the best thing he could get on short notice.
Yeah.
So what did Wesker go and do? Hired all the goons Wesker knew, which was effectively like an old dude, some crazy dude, and a lady or something that wasn't ready for the job at all. Right? The process of this comic, all of them die.
Yeah.
Right? This specific issue, they all die, up to and including the crazy dude who was just like a fan of Joker, right? So Black Mask gets they talk for a little while, and he threatens Black Mask. I think he even shoots the dude in the arm or something, right?
I think that was Wesker who got shot, because he gets shot through the puppet. He might stab him.
He also gets... Yeah, he hurts Black Mask for some reason, and Black Mask is like, can we speed this up? What do you want to know? I'll tell you, all right?
Yeah. And
he tells him, Joker is like, I just need to know what's going on, and Black Mask starts laughing at him, right? Black Mask's like, you don't even know, dude. Yo, LA Joker's got you screwed, homie. He's got the boys, he's got Clayface. He starts listing off, and then I believe Joker just gets pissed and leaves.
Yeah, he doesn't kill Black Mask.
Definitely not. Where do we cut to after Black Mask?
The hospital, I think. Because we get some cut-ins while Joker's talking to Black Mask of Jason and the family.
Right.
But after he leaves Black Mask, one of the Jokers, I think it's the Gotham Joker, because he has all the messed up face.
We cut to Red Hood threatening Wesker for information, which he gets out of Wesker. Then we go back to Joker threatening Black Mask.
Yeah.
Then we see
the family shows up.
The LA Joker people are taking down all of Gotham Joker's people. We go back to Red Hood again, pay some rent, show us that he's meeting up with Manhunter from LA.
Yeah.
Manhunter mentions that she was tracking Joker all the way from LA, which is a bad joke if you think about it.
Uh-huh.
The reason why I say that is, first of all, how do you track the Joker?
I mean, you kind of know where he's going to end up.
Right, but he was driving.
Yeah.
So Manhunter, a LA-based superhero, decided, and she's got a kid, I think, and she's in an AA meeting on top of that.
Yeah.
Decided, I'm going to wackily fucking go on a road trip to Gotham, where there are clearly capable Bat family
arguably
people.
More capable people.
That's why I thought this was a joke. I was like, this is hilarious, and I don't even know if it's supposed to be funny. She's a buck wild, crazy woman. And then she starts trying to fight Spoiler and Red Hood when they meet up and shit. Also, Ravager is there. Ravager broke Red Hood out in the prior issue. And Ravager has some premonition sense.
Yeah.
She walks into the Joker's lair, which is the information they got from Wesker. And they see that it's already been ransacked by the LA Joker and his goons. And Ravager's like, there's somebody still here! Which I digested as Ravager's moment of premonition. Did you know Ravager has premonition powers?
Yeah, vaguely.
They are, but that's exactly what they are. They're vague premonition powers.
Yeah.
So she knows somebody's there. It's Manhunter, whatever, they do their thing. And now they need to go and re-find the Joker. This kind of feels like Moon Knight in the way that, oh, and then this happened. Oh, and then this happened. Oh, and then this happened. Oh, and then there was the end. There's poor Matthew Rosenberg had to go on hiatus for 2 months, and now he's got to reestablish every single beat that he had going in this comic.
Right.
In just this issue, just so he can continue into the next issue. And the huge, big payoff here that made it all worth it and made it so that you might not even notice that he was doing all this rent pay was that he managed to finally blend the B story into the A story at the end of the book.
It was very cool.
So, Red Hood's on the Joker's tail with Ravager and Manhunter. Joker is at a hospital.
He revisits this kid with cancer.
No, not yet.
Okay.
Why is he at the hospital?
I don't know.
He's at the hospital visiting one of his goons that got taken down by the LA Joker people. The dude is on his deathbed, literally dying, literally in surgery. Gotham Joker walks in, stops surgery, shoots the doctor.
Yeah.
Everybody else goes running. And he goes over to the dude who had called him earlier that day with like, oh, I know who the LA Joker is. Gotham Joker's like, tell me, damn it! Tell me! And he dies. And then Joker loses his shit because he didn't hear the information he needed. He starts plugging everybody in the room. As he's running by, there's like a door open, and he sees there's a kid in there. It's one of the kids from like 4 or 5 issues earlier.
Yeah.
One of the cancer kids. And he's like, oh, kid, how you doing, bud? I feel sorry for you. Fucking moment of clarity from Joker out of nowhere. Love it, though, right? This chaoticness is totally okay. So he goes in, and he's like, oh, is there anything I could do for you? And what does he talk to the kid about? I know it's important. Oh,
He's reading Wonder Woman.
he needs an idea. He's like, I don't know what to do. All of my goons are dead. LA Joker is winning. He has a better team. I'm losing my shit, and I know it so much so. I'm trying to help this cancer kid out. What are you even doing? I'm reading a comic book. Why are you reading a comic book? You can't learn anything from those things. Give me that. Starts reading Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
Okay.
We cut to the Frank Avila story.
Also a joke I love. Right, I thought this book, ended once he started reading the comic, because the B story starts.
Yeah.
Here's something I want to mention about the comic. We know it's a Wonder Woman book. We see the cover. I think it's even the Tom King Wonder Woman book. That's the cover. I think it's a promotional thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure that was DC editorial, because that isn't a painted image. That's a digital image dropped in.
Yeah,
so it was
that's
left
like
open.
a real comic cover.
So it was left open by the artist. Had to be. It was digitally printed in. DC probably digitally printed in what they want to sell the most of coming next. They've done this before. I don't know if you've noticed them digitally printing in comics.
Yeah.
It's always current comics. They never print in older ones. Unless extreme situations. I've seen Watchmen and V for Vendetta on the background of walls before and stuff.
Yeah.
But if they're going to go that route, they're going to go that route. It's either current or it's not. It's not going to be like this Daniel Warren Johnson cover of Peacemaker, right? It's going to be Wonder Woman. So I think that this is editorial doing that. That being said, this makes a brilliant joke. Joker is crazy. Yes, we all know that, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't he open a Wonder Woman book and think it's all about him? The whole book.
Right.
Because every single B story we've read
It's been a comic book.
Not just that, but they started out with a story about a more important character than Joker, but then he takes that story and makes it about him for the rest of it. Right. Oh, Batgirl's in love with me. What can I do to win Batgirl over, Joker might be one of the most, self-involved characters. The man really lives in his own world.
Yeah.
He's the classic unreliable narrator, if you need one. So, if he's reading a book and we're supposed to be viewing what he's reading, it's no surprise that it's not what's in that book at all.
Yeah.
And the funnier joke about this is, right, he finishes reading the book, and before he's reading the book, he's telling the kid, there's nothing you can learn from comics. He reads the book, he finishes reading the book, and he's go, I got a great idea! He was reading history. You want to tell us what the B story summary was, Chris, if you got it?
Yeah, it's the supposed origin of a second Joker. Joker while on a heist with a couple goons.
He's going
and
killing people in the streets.
Yeah. One of them has a faulty mask, and the Joker gas gets to him. He's dying, but Joker takes him home anyway.
He's not dying. He's not dying. He
never stops dying, is what I was going to say.
He's laughing, yes.
He just stays around and eventually gains consciousness to some extent after Professor Pig works on him. Professor Pig really wants to use this guy as a test experiment because he's clearly very resilient, Joker decides that he wants. It'd be funny if there was another Joker around, basically, and that's what this guy is. Joker turned him into another Joker.
Joker says that like he's tired of doing certain things.
Oh yeah, so he makes this other Joker.
So it'd be great if he could just send this Joker in instead of himself.
And there's a great we've seen this 2 times in this Joker series. Once in Black Mirror, this double page splash of a character's face of 2 different emotions of it.
Yeah.
The first one's Joker. He's all excited. This Joker's doing all the shit he doesn't want to do, and then he's like all frowning because this Joker is doing stuff he does want to do, like, and he's mad, he's overstepping. And that's what happens. He kills Gaggy, because Gaggy tried to order him around, thinking he's a second in command. This guy has become the Joker, so he's like...
The clone Joker kills Gaggy.
No one messes with, or no one tells me what to do, so he kills Gaggy. Joker decides that's enough. He's decided, like, this Joker has gained autonomy in a way he doesn't want him to. So he shoots him in, he takes him to a park, puts a bag over his head, shoots him in the head. Leaves. The issue ends with him. He starts laughing out of the bag.
The B story ends there.
Cut Joker back to the A story.
Back to the A story for a
Joker.
Page.
I don't know what he says, but the first actual line he says is comic books are magical.
Yeah, which is great. And
then he figures out like, oh, at least to this Joker, he made the other Joker, and this is the story of how he did it.
Right, and I could read it because it's really short. He says, "This is incredible. Don't move! Put your hands up! Step away from the boy!" Says the security officer to him as he's reading the comic. Comic books are magical! He lifts his hand, shoots the security officer. Then he says, "Of course I know who made... of course I know who he is. I made him!" So he's taking the comic book to mean history, even though he has no history because he's the Joker. You know, you're not meant to think too much into this other than the Joker is crazy, and he thinks that this comic book is telling him his origin story.
And for all we know, this could be all we get.
This is all we need.
Yeah, Rosenberg he set up this mystery in the first issue, and then has only paid lip service to paying it off. He just is kind of enjoying there being 2 Jokers. I don't think we're ever going to get a resolution for how there's 2 Jokers.
Well, we just want to...
We're going to get this, which is maybe what happened, maybe not. Because the Francavilla stories have not been reliable. They're all very silly, fun stories. We finally get one that maybe matters, maybe doesn't.
See, I agree and disagree with you. I'm sure you remember me over the course of us doing
right. They slowly incorporate a second Joker.
Me making the note every issue that there is some theme of 2 Jokers in the backup story, like a continuing theme of 2 Jokers. And for 10 issues, you have 10 different jokes about 2 different Jokers.
Yeah,
that's impressive. I just want to put that out there. But that's been the ongoing thing, and I've seen that correlation between these 2, like, A and B stories. And, you know, in any other book, you can do an A-B story, and the B story can be somewhat relative, right? This is the most blended I've ever seen a B story into an A story. And I think it was perfectly utilized here and would not be able to be done elsewhere outside of a Deadpool comic.
Yeah, this is the only book where I enjoy the B stories. I shouldn't say that. I like some of the Zdarsky B stories, but I feel like...
They also stopped doing a lot of these B stories.
I don't think there was a B story in Batman this week.
No, they finally figured out we don't want that shit anymore.
Which, for at least Batman, I'll say that's a shame, because we got a really good Leonardo Romero story out of that.
Yeah.
With Zernar Year One. That was cool.
But... you know, Joker was a pretty quick read, I'd say, compared to normal Joker because of all of those, and then we did this, and then we did this, and then we did this kind of situations.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of jumping around, which is something that Joker does as well, just not as
But I feel like it made the book seem like not a lot happened, because, again, when I went over the summary, really, 18 out of the 22 pages are Joker talking to Black Mask, while something else happens in the background.
Yeah. I think this comic feels like an Adult Swim cartoon.
Yeah.
I really feel like...
just like that improv nature of like anything could happen.
Yeah.
Different styles are being thrown around.
Yeah, the adult humor that isn't over the top, but very violent still. The jokes that are clearly for adults, but they may not land for kids.
Right.
There's just a lot of stuff.
I wrote the first one down because I really dug it.
It was really slow. I thought it was a 2-part joke. I thought that it was.
Yeah, funny. I thought it was done. The first
funny
one
with the first line and funnier with the second line.
Yeah.
Go for it, though.
I used to work with a kleptomaniac. he never got my jokes,
And
which
then
I
it was
thought was
an
the
ellipse.
punchline.
Never got his joke. Like, he never stole his jokes. Right?
Yeah, and then he says he took everything literally. So there's a second punchline. I thought that was
He
great.
took everything.
Literally. So if they put a comma in there, you know.
10 issues in, and he's still opening with great jokes.
And that is my single favorite idea Rosenberg had in this series, which is Joker. This is a book about a character. This character needs a running monologue, or an internal monologue.
More accurately,
But how do you
monologue.
give the Joker a monologue? He is telling bad jokes all the time.
To himself.
To himself. He never says them out loud. I've been waiting for Joker to finish a punchline in one of his text boxes in person and have the other character not know what's happening. Just like have him, I don't know, play with.
Closest we got to that was the line he delivered to Kill the Croc with
Yeah.
the shotgun, which was pretty good. I ain't said nothing I haven't said already about this book, and I could keep saying the same things. So if you really want to hear us talk about this book, go
I
watch
think
it.
we've talked about every issue. Like, despite the fact we've missed some days, I feel like we started like issue 3 in January, and we're still going, enjoying this book.
Yeah.
It's still really good.
It's one of the best books on the wall. Buy it. It's totally worth the $6, even for the cardstock cover and everything.
And like Frank Avila is doing any art. Like that guy is a generational talent who doesn't get a lot done anymore. Doesn't get in tears very often.
No, he's working on bigger art projects. Is half of that. He does like movie covers.
Yeah, for like
covers,
Mondo and stuff. And they probably pay him a ton
promotional
of money.
stuff and things for like horror and stuff. That guy is way busy making more money. The other reason he probably even still do comics is as either a favor to somebody
or he just really likes it.
Or really likes the stuff.
And you can tell his style. It's built in comic language.
Yeah.
Even when he does film posters, it looks like
But he's so capable too.
Yeah.
He can do like your strappy 70s style Silver Age like Joker comic, and then he can go and do some crazy horror, like really looking like John Carpenter's face looking stuff.
One of the defining Batman stories is Black Mirror, which has him on it, and it looks similar but not the same.
No, it's a little more serious.
Yeah,
Black Mirror, but his art gets even more serious than that, even outside of comics.
Yeah, and even like that Archie horror book or whatever, Archie Zombies or whatever, he elevates that stuff.
Yeah.
Even if I think he did the interiors of the first one.
Yeah.
All the covers look amazing.
Yeah, they do. I think we should keep this rolling.
Yeah, let's go on to Batman.
We're talking enough about Joker. Batman, man, I remember enjoying the heck out of this, but I don't remember most of the story outside of the simple fact that there's going to be like, you know what? I'll try and fill in the details here as best I can, I suppose.
Yeah.
First of all, let's talk about this cover.
It's a little strange.
Her feet are not in the right place.
No, this cover would be fine if this foot was in the other direction. It's really weird that they're going the same way.
Yeah.
Feet don't dangle like that, really.
No, I don't know. They don't look like feet. They're too long. They're not curved properly.
Yeah.
And then I don't really like her getup. She looks like some like 18-year-old OnlyFans girl.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I really like this Batman in the back though. Really
the
channeling jock vibes almost.
Yeah, it is. Totally is. So, what is the story even? I don't remember how it opens up, but I know what's going on.
Batman stops a robbery. He stops 2 of Selina's cat thieves.
Right. For this, the first couple
burglary.
pages.
Yes.
It's him just stopping.
He's shutting people down.
Yeah.
He shuts down these 2 random guys, and then he takes down Fright, who's one of Selina's like top people, and he takes down someone called Scorpion and Vox, who were at the Iceberg Lounge doing something illegal, because Selina mentions like they were doing something they shouldn't have been. It's their fault they got caught, basically. She chastises them to another person. Someone of Selina's supporting cast we have no idea about, because there's been a Catwoman book for like 30 issues that me and Skylar have not read.
What's important here is that we have these characters. So, man, I kind of want to summarize the story just because I feel like there's just also a bunch of rent to be paid here. There's Catman, Catwoman, and Batman are arguing, and they're having a disagreement over how Gotham should be handled as if it was their children.
Right.
And Catwoman thinks that by stealing from the rich, the Robin Hood situation, by stealing from the rich and giving to the poor, even though it's thieving, it's still okay.
Getting the goons off the street too. They're specifically hiring like Two-Face alumni, Joker alumni, Riddler alumni.
Villains, period.
Yeah.
Essentially, anybody that's willing to play by Catwoman's rules are welcomed. anybody who doesn't play by rules gets a reprimand, it seems.
Yeah.
Doesn't seem to be thrown off the squad first, just a reprimand. And then maybe if they really go against the rules a second time, maybe that's fine when she gets in. But in any case, she's trying to like redeem some of these villainous goon level people, street level thugs, in the worst way possible, which is to train them to be better street level thugs.
Yeah.
And Batman sees it, and Damian sees it, and nobody else sees it for some reason, which is a pill for me, hard to swallow.
Yeah. I think when we were talking about this book, that is the number one thing that was dragging this book down for me. I think Chip is a good voice for all these characters. So I don't know when it happened in the planning process, but I don't buy that anyone, except for Jason and maybe Stephanie, just because of who her father is and her upbringing and all that, would even buy Catwoman's plan.
So,
especially Dick, I just can't.
Not only that, but I'm going to take a shot at Chip Zdarsky because Chris isn't going to. That man has trouble writing characters consistently.
Yeah.
One of the characters that he is good at writing consistently is Batman and Daredevil. Batman he's kind of been writing him as like an emotional man boy, which is fine. That's a swallowable one for Batman. Daredevil, he's written like a fucking idiot. Daredevil's an idiot.
Yeah.
We can move on with that one. Tim Drake, in my reading of Tim Drake, has never been an emotional, like overburden, I'm gonna step on like your job kind of character. Tim Drake has been I'm gonna be in the chair. I'm gonna let you guys know exactly what's going on. Call me if you need help. He's there. He's supportive. He's Robin. He's the Robin. This is the most un-Robin I've ever seen Tim Drake in my entire life. His first appearance in this book was hugging Batman on the scene.
Yeah.
On the scene. He not only that, but he almost calls him Bruce. I'm like livid about this because I know that they've been trying to take Tim Drake a different direction. And I'm cool with that.
Yeah.
Totally cool with that.
The longer Damian exists, the more he absorbs Tim's character traits, and the only thing Tim has really kept on to is that he's a good detective.
Don't take Tim Drake and start applying generalized qualities for a demographic to that character.
Yeah.
Don't do that to any character. Make them their own human being. I don't care who he is outside of being Tim Drake to Batman and Robin to Batman, the Bat Family and stuff. I don't care what he does in his free time.
Yeah.
But you're going to have to keep things consistent. Tim Drake was the most un-Tim Drake in this book I think I've ever read.
I don't think anyone was specifically on character.
Nightwing, a little bit, right? Nightwing's first line in this book when
I
Catwoman
can swallow what Nightwing is doing because what Tom Taylor specifically is doing with him right now.
Trying to be a more understanding human being.
Yeah.
And
but through his history, I don't know. And then Barbara too, like the daughter of a cop, raised by a cop. This Oracle role.
Yeah.
I don't think she would be okay with this either. She probably has one of the
Definitely.
more severe senses of justice out of the Bat family.
Yeah.
Even Cass also is a character who, because of her upbringing, in a different way than Stephanie, has a very strict moral code because she knows what breaking that does to a person.
Yeah.
It makes an undesirable person.
Yeah. Yes. So, Catwoman holds a meeting with the Bat family. Also a hard pill to swallow.
This was also in the first issue, which I feel like we do have to summarize a little bit.
Yeah. The first issue? Yeah.
This is in. There was a big
touch.
Gotham War.
That's all I'm going to touch
issue,
about this. So there's a prequel issue,
which really explains the idea. And I don't know if you have. I feel like you should read a summary of that book because it explains what's happening. I read this book first. I didn't entirely understand what was their Catwoman's plans.
Right.
What was happening?
It seems like you still are unaware of some of the things happening with Catwoman's plan, like some of the key players and stuff.
Okay.
So, like, the book didn't explain enough. Didn't tell you who any of the key players were, just gave you the concept that Catwoman is in a disagreement with Batman, which I think you can get from this book.
Okay.
If you want specifics, yeah, go and read this backup, unnecessary, badly drawn, half-written by Teenie Howard issue. Yes, go and do that. Or don't, you know.
I think you should find out what happened in it. Maybe talk to someone who read it. It's just, I feel like there is some important information in there. It's just not a good issue.
It's not going to justify the way the characters are acting in this book.
No.
So
that issue did have conflict between the characters, though, which I liked a lot more. Because during the initial meeting, no one really agrees with Catwoman's plan. They're like thinking on it, which I can understand. Them being like, maybe this would work. Maybe. I don't know if I agree with it. Even all of them at the time, like, I don't think I'm going to stop fighting crime.
Yeah.
And then we cut to this issue, and everyone has essentially stopped fighting Selina's goons, but Batman, and presumably Damian, but we only see him at the end of the book.
Batman's taking down Catwoman's goons. It's pretty much the whole summary of this issue. Halfway through the issue, everybody's getting pissed at Batman. They decide they're going to take down Batman.
Yeah.
They all go for it. They fail. Also a hard pill to swallow for me. How many times have we seen Batman in the pages written differently, different writers admit that Cassandra Cain's a better fighter than Batman?
And Batman
Over and over
takes
again.
her out.
Over and over, yeah, like next to no problem.
Yeah.
You know who gives them a problem? Friggin' Jason Todd and Nightwing.
Yeah.
And I can swallow that. I can swallow that. They're probably the two closest trained to Batman, especially Dick.
Yeah, and whatever
Those
Jason
rough years that Batman was training Dick.
Whatever Dick and Jason, whatever he did to Cass, he made it know, like, I have to take her out quick. So whatever he did, I guess he just took her by surprise. If he had another second, maybe she would have put up a good fight.
Thankfully, the one thing Chip did do properly is the Bat Fam beats Batman.
Yeah.
Batman gets away after
kind of
falling
let him,
through
too.
a roof. Yeah. And the part that really gets them away is he's getting chased by, I think, Cass and Damian out of nowhere. Damian out of nowhere with
Sucker punch.
with like a sucker punch, but more accurately, I think it was like a spear.
I
Like
think
he
it's-
just throws his body.
I'm pretty
into
sure
her.
it's Jason, too, because one of the notes I made was Batman's internal monologue about Jason when he's fighting him. It's kind of very specific.
Jason's on Catwoman's side 100% though.
Yeah. No, oh yeah, he's
Oh, you
the
think
one who's
Jason's-
drinking the
oh, you think
Kool-Aid.
Damian's the one who takes Jason down? Jason's
Yeah.
Jason. Doesn't really matter. But yeah. So, and then Damian and Batman run off and they gotta go and like...
They go back to the
plan.
brownstone.
They gotta go and do their thing or whatever. And,
Vandal Savage bought Wayne Manor. That's the big...
they don't go back to the brownstone. Right. Isn't there like a,
No, they go back to their house.
Oh, and he gets
someone
a
knocks
bill.
on the door.
He gets served!
Because
Right.
Batman, in order to pay for this house,
Right.
used Wayne Manor as collateral.
They went to go rest up and plan. It's like the morning. He gets a knock, right, by like a
bank type.
process server. It was like, sorry, we would have notified you earlier, but you're never home. Here you go.
Well,
He
he
gets
was,
this thing.
one of the things is because of Night Terrors, Batman was out for like 8 months.
Right. Well, the process server doesn't know that he's been out for night terrors for 8 months.
Yeah, but like he hasn't been
No.
attending to any of his things
I think-
for all this time.
Right. But like, you really think Batman's out here paying bills?
Yeah.
You really?
Yeah.
You think he sets aside time to sit at a desk and like?
No, I think he has someone do it. But I
That's
think
what
he
I'm
pays-
trying to say. Batman doesn't pay bills. He's got people to do that. This is him not being around is not. We don't need to like. He's been busy, so he can't pay his bills. No, Batman doesn't pay his bills. They just get paid. He's Batman. He's got better shit to
I
do.
don't think he has someone.
He's
to pay
now
them anymore.
poor, right? So this is what I'm. He's now poor, and Night Terrors is irrelevant to this. He's now poor, so he can't pay his bills. And he's been busy being Batman, so he's not gonna pay his bills anyway. Then one of his bills has finally come to fruition.
Yeah.
He's
Someone
lost
bought-
the manor because he couldn't keep up.
And he's
with
going to
it.
lose the house too, because he uses this house. He used Wayne Manor as bank collateral to pay for the rent on this house.
Didn't know that. So he drives immediately. He drives to Wayne Manor and to like I don't know to remove all the Batman stuff. from
Yeah.
him. And he finds Vandal Savage there, which is a strange beat because last time we saw Vandal Savage was
Detective.
in Detective, which is
I
not
don't-
really tying to anything.
Maybe,
But they
because I
also-
was like, I don't know what Vandal Savage was doing in Detective besides taking out the organs and saying he's going to Gotham.
He's coming
I can't
back.
say this isn't part of his plan, and a later issue Detective will be like, we're not gonna. I feel like we're not gonna deal with Vandal Savage and Batman. I think this is a detective beat that Chip is just paying off early.
It really could, or more accurately, it could be because I have been noticing now that these books are back that the Batman editors are doing a job finally.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it'd be
Between
I don't think
Joker,
it's Chip paying off a beat that Ram V set up. I think it's Ram V setting up something for Chip and going,
Oh, maybe.
"Here, I'm going to lay this in here because I need to use him anyway. Then I'm going to send him to Gotham. And then you can pick that up since I don't need him anymore
Yeah.
after that. Then when you're done with him in Gotham, he's
I
going to
can-
come back
Yeah.
to Detective and cause a bunch of problems.
and one of Chip's main influences in writing Batman is Grant Morrison, and Vandal Savage was a character in the Grant Morrison run, so
Yeah.
I can imagine he has an idea for him, for sure.
You know, Chip's he's doing something brave too because Grant Morrison is a crazy British man.
Yeah.
And Chip Zdarsky is a relatively normal Canadian man.
Yeah.
So he's
And
like,
that's the other thing that's been happening.
really brave, juggling
In
with weird
both
Batman
books,
stuff.
the tie-in and this one, there's this visual of Zur-En-Arrh coming to Batman behind a cage.
Oh, it's
so Batman has him trapped, but he's influencing him for sure.
Catwoman.
There's a panel in here, maybe it was actually in Catwoman, when Batman is talking about the guy who murdered, Batman's color shifts slowly to purple as the book ends on a Zur-En-Arrh reflection in the water.
So you jumped a shark.
This
there.
is a while ago.
No. We didn't talk about the dude that gets murdered by one of Catwoman's gang.
Yeah. What happened in Catwoman?
That happened in Catwoman? Doesn't happen in here?
No.
Who murders the dude?
The guy is robbing someone. She comes out with a gun. She wasn't supposed
That
to be
happened.
there.
Oh, but I read it, so it must have happened in the Battle Lines book.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
All right, there's officially a reason to read the stupid Battle Lines book because I forgot that somebody died.
And that's the main. Batman was even considering it for a second. He's like, maybe I'm too stubborn.
He
Maybe
was.
Selena's idea would work.
He was.
And then this guy dies. And he's like, someone's died. This isn't gonna work. People are gonna keep dying.
like a switch in his
and
brain.
the big thing. A parent died leaving an orphan. It reminds him of him.
Right.
And he's like, I swore
Right.
to stop crime, specifically like this.
And let me reiterate that the reason this person died was because of Catwoman and the people.
She
that
was there
trained.
robbing, doing a Catwoman mission, one of these heists.
No, she wasn't there.
He was there because of Catwoman's heist plan.
This dude murders a dude, and then Catwoman shows up to not like bail him out, but like you can't be doing this kind of stuff. It's not cool. I don't remember the specifics. The dude didn't get captured, from what I remember.
No, Catwoman's guy died. He's the one who got shot and fell.
Oh, okay. Right. Oh, yeah.
He must have got shot and then fall off the skyrise because they find
He's
him
trying
in the
to
alley.
rob somebody,
That's what I've
and
been
then
saying,
somebody shot him.
Yes.
Right. And so Batman's gonna put this to a stop. So, so it's important. The beat there that there's a dead dude on.
And also,
Batman's
everyone that
watch.
Batman captured gets freed by Lady Clayface at the end of the issue, who's part of Catwoman's gang.
Also true. There's we're kind of doing a partial summary on this.
Yeah,
It's all over
we're
the
more
place.
just talking about the issue.
The book is starting a new storyline, so it's no surprise.
And then we
there.
set up a third storyline that will be picked up sometime. A bunch of villains have a meeting. It's like Professor Pig, Scarecrow, Black Mask, the Ventriloquist,
Right.
Zaz, Two-Face,
Right.
Firefly. They're all having some meeting about
Everybody-
getting back to crime after this thing happening.
Everybody that wasn't a goon.
Yeah.
Is like.
Who don't have minions.
They're like, we're not a fan of. Notice that Joker's not in there.
No.
Yeah. So this all happens in an order. The meeting of the Rogues Gallery is kind of shoved in there in the middle of the issue.
Yeah, it's a cutaway.
And the ending of the issue is definitely Batman and Damian going over to the Wayne Manor to meet with Vandal Savage. But the whole like bulk and meat of the issue is Batman taking people down, the Bat family trying to stop him not like listening to that, but also at the same time thinking about what's right, what's wrong, should he do this, should he do that.
Yeah.
And in his weakness, in his thinking about Catwoman, letting her get to him, let the family get to him, Zur-En-Arrh Batman is slowly creeping in to the point where at the end of the issue it almost seems like he might already be all the way in there. And like Batman just
And not only that, this is
doesn't
another
know.
thing from the Battle Lines issue. Batman opens the book talking to Zur-En-Arrh, and there's this really weird visual while he's talking to Zur-En-Arrh. There's like 4 more bat eyes behind him. Those like characteristic triangle slits.
Yeah.
So there's something more going on to Zur-En-Arrh.
Maybe that's
I feel like we're
maybe it's-
moving, since we're going in the Morrison direction, like everything matters,
Yeah.
he takes such big influence.
Yeah,
I feel
yeah.
like we're gonna start seeing like 60s Batman as something that's in Batman's head, this very cheery, light Cape Crusader
Remember
type.
the end of 135 and we saw the various Zur-En-Arrhs?
Yeah, oh, maybe that's what it is.
That's where
You're
it's going.
totally right.
That's where it's going. So, boy, did I like this book for all of the wrong reasons. It has great setup. It's totally.
By the way, we
totally
ragged
comeback
on
issue.
this cover. Jorge Jimenez does a really good job in this book.
Yeah, he was one of my favorite parts. That was my favorite part of the book.
We talked about this beforehand. After that 135 issue where he goes to the multiverse, he's much more than ever taking inking styles, drawing styles from like Batman artists past. Like the first page almost looked like it was inked by Tim Sale, the way he has Batman described.
Page 2, we got a Batman Frank Miller face with all shadow, Tim Sale style. page.
The next page, there's a different Batman. I got like Mazzucchelli vibes. He's not doing that character Corey thing where he's like doing a splatter effect or any texture. It was very open, looked like a Fornes Marquez drawing.
Yeah, really, really dynamic and appealing panel work.
When Damian punches Jason, like that, it's not a full splash page, but it's an impactful half splash.
Like we just talked so much about the summary of the book, and the reason why we talked so long is because so much happens in this book, and you can't have an artist that doesn't know how to like utilize every crevice of their space.
Yeah.
And this is one of those books where there's something happening in every panel that's relevant to what's going on in the next panel. So like there's movement you need to follow, action you need to follow, little things that are here that are going to come relevant in a page later.
Yeah.
Like every panel is utilized to the best possible.
And we're ragging on Zdarsky's writing a little bit because of his premise. Honestly,
He's not
I'm
write
blaming,
characters consistently.
I'm blaming Teenie Howard for some of this. I feel like this is a Teenie
Sure.
Howard idea,
Yeah,
and he has
sure.
to go along with what Teenie Howard is bringing to this table.
Oh yeah.
Because the way even he writes Dick and Barbara in previous issues, they are in character. I don't think they would agree with this. They're never talking about like, and like I see how the story appeals to Chip because even if you read his Daredevil, he's socially conscious. He's thinking about how these superheroes affect poverty and stuff.
Yeah.
This is a common theme in Chip's writing.
Yeah.
But I just don't think he would go with these characters. Even if, like, maybe Nightwing in this current state would go for this, but Barbara.
And let me talk about Nightwing for a moment. I think that Nightwing really changed dynamically as a character after Black Mirror.
Yeah.
I think Black Mirror was that moment in Nightwing's history where he finally got to really feel the weight of Batman, and it changed him into being the Nightwing we know today. I'd say that before Black Mirror, you're so right when you say he's a different character because he's a lot more like dangerous, willing to take risks. Like he's single for a long time. Playing like he's very smart and calculated, but he gets a little bit away from Batman at a point.
Yeah.
And he starts doing almost a Jason Todd thing, minus all the bad morals and ethics.
He was a cop for a while?
But then, in an agent of Spiral.
Yeah.
But
that's post Black Mirror, so that's not entirely.
and you can see, and even in his Agent of Spiral stuff, you can see what he took from being Batman in Black Mirror.
He became a detective after being Batman.
Not
he
only did he
became more
become a
analytical after being Batman.
And he was already those things, right? So now he's mastered those things after becoming Batman. And not only that, but he is the better Batman because he has the empathy and sympathy of a human that didn't have to like live their whole life without their parents. Because he's had Alfred,
gained a parent.
and he's had Bruce, and he's had brothers, and he's got this whole family. Dick is probably the most consistently written character in this until he starts fighting Batman.
Yeah.
Not okay. Especially with like the Nightwing run, the appearances we've seen from Batman in that run are Batman going,
"You're my son. I love you. You're the best of us.
You're doing a better job than I am."
Yeah.
I don't know how you're
That's
doing
a Tom
this.
Taylorism.
You know,
I feel like though. I don't know.
Maybe it seems like Scott agrees that Nightwing is the better Batman.
Yeah.
And it seems like Tom King probably
At
agrees.
least Grant definitely did too.
It seems like Tom King might even agree that too, just hadn't had the opportunity to put him in that role and stuff. Grant Morrison, I really think everybody kind of has this thought. But anyway, we need to focus on this book, this story, Batman 137. I thought it was funny that we keep seeing Babs eating, constantly eating.
Yeah,
Every time
it's just a thing.
Jorge Jimenez draws
Jorge
Barbara,
posted that page and was like, "I've been waiting to draw a woman drawing junk food." It's like his thing. I don't get it.
He
It's
loves her
weird.
eating food. She never gains weight. Strong designs for the characters and consistent with continuity. The Red Hood looked like the Red Hood in the Batman the Man.
And he has those white temples that he gained at some point. I don't know when.
Yeah, but that was in like Task Force Z. It was in Man Who Stopped Laughing. They're keeping things consistent. How about that Bruce Lee pose?
That was sick. Yeah,
that was sweet. I'm gonna pull it up. There's a really good like shot for shot Bruce Lee of pose where Batman's doing this and like telling him to come here and stuff. Lines in the right places saves time for the artist and the reader. Jorge Jimenez is so talented in putting lines down in the right places so that he doesn't have to draw all of this other stuff. He can go boom, boom, boom. That's the shadow of the leg. Boom. I don't have to draw the rest of that leg. Yeah. Somebody like Ivan Heiss might be like, all right, I gotta cross-hatch this elbow for a half hour.
Yeah.
Right? But like Jorge can go, little squiggle, 2 lines there, that's a knee, I'm done.
Well, you gotta think about it, like, all of these top artists are kind of coming from like that Todd McFarlane school. And what's Todd's like most famous saying?
Or a manga,
when in doubt,
or a
black
manga
it out.
background. Yeah, and manga
He says
works
this shit all the time.
Manga works the same way too,
Yeah.
right? How many times have we seen like a good pose in manga where it hits the face and then shadowed out the rest of the body in Naruto or something? It's just the way it works. You want to pump out stuff, make it look good, make it get on time.
Shadow it.
You gotta figure it out, dude. And Jorge doesn't even use that many shadows. The dude uses them cleverly.
No, but when he does, it looks like that. Again, page 2 of Batman. There's a window behind him. It looks sick as hell.
Lines in the right places save time for the artist and the reader. So important in comics. This guy's nailing it. How did Batman take out a well-rounded Cassandra Cain? We covered that.
Yeah.
Batman in Crisis.
Yeah.
He's so conflicted. He's like more in Crisis than when he was in Heroes in Crisis.
Or in the Tom King run, where like his
he's
world is
literally
falling
being
apart.
destroyed for 85 issues.
Bane has a plan to ruin him, and Batman, just through his own machinations, has ruined himself more in 20 issues, maybe? Not even. This is issue 12.
I'd say this is comparative to how badly he got destroyed in Tom King's writing.
By the end, yeah, but like we're not that far into this run.
And he's already
Batman
broken.
has lost his shit.
Broken.
Is isolated from everyone except for Damian.
His like his like emergency red button has been pushed already.
And he's just saying a lot of uncharacteristic things.
Yeah.
No matter what, Batman has always cared for Jason.
How about like crying in front of Catwoman in the issue beforehand? When and then Catwoman's like, stop being a fucking baby and leaves.
I think that was almost uncharacteristic of Catwoman, because like Batman, this is the one character Batman's like, I almost married you. We are technically married. That Tom King run ends with a fucking memorial.
Yeah.
They're not legally married, they are figuratively married.
In common law, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and this lady just shuts him down because she has a plan, I guess.
Batman's fighting the Bat family, and he says, Nightwings often flop. And he gets punched directly into the face by Nightwing. He was trying to say that like his offense was sloppy, and then he gets punched by offense.
Shit on.
He gets like, I thought that was so funny.
There's a line in, again, battle lines. Batman is talking about like, all you guys dress up as Nightwing or Robin. I'm not dressing up. I am Batman.
Yeah,
he's like losing his shit.
It was pretty close to that. Yeah. I'd say that Jorge Jimenez is here and doing great because he's built on the best.
Yeah.
It was really clear in this issue. He's cool with just pulling out whoever he feels like fits these panels now. And since we've had such amazing groundwork built in Batman through the years, why would you not take what's come before you and use it again? Right. If it works, it works. Don't fix it. Doesn't feel like a Catwoman crossover to me. I'm not gonna pretty standalone Batman story.
We'll see next issue if we miss a lot, but I'm not reading Catwoman anyway.
Nor am I. I ain't picking up no tie-in issues. So DC, nice try.
There's like a Red Hood one. I'm okay.
Not doing it.
Honestly,
Rosenberg will buy it.
I don't think it is.
I'm out.
Maybe it is.
I'm out. This doesn't. It just feels like a Batman story with Catwoman in it.
Yeah.
Which
honestly,
that's fine.
As an idea for a Catwoman story, regardless of the family stuff, I actually like this general idea.
It's cool conceptually. I think that.
And like, this is a way to tell a big Catwoman story. Like,
ooh, girl power too. Like lots of women. Time for women in the Batman book, which is awesome. Batman is just a man, but he's also more than a man. That's an ongoing theme in this Chip run.
Yeah, and and he's trying not to lose the myth. That's a big thing that Chip has been
While
trying. There is a line at the beginning. He's like, maybe this was also in fucking battle lines. There's a Chip. Chip definitely wrote this. He's talking about my body is breaking, or I'm sore until I put on the costume.
Yeah.
I need to be better.
Right.
I need to keep up the myth. Once I get into it, my muscles move correct. I'm very paraphrasing.
He said something similar to that in that, but he really said it when he was talking to Gordon a couple issues ago before Night Terrors. Gordon's on one wall, he's on the other side of the wall.
That's totally in Detective.
Gordon's trying to tell him that. Is it in Detective?
Yeah. Gordon has not been in this Batman.
It's just a long, ongoing theme of Batman is more than a man, less of a man.
Yeah.
I don't even think that's an editor compliment. I think that's probably Randy.
I think that's two good writers who have an idea of what Batman is about.
You're probably right on the money. That's all of my notes, though. I think this was a great issue. I don't know why you wanted to do it first. I think it was way better than Moon Knight. Way better than Moon Knight.
Now that there's so much I like about this. Everything we've complained about is what's dragging this book down for me.
me, and it really bothers me.
It's only
These
one
characters-
issue, just like Moon Knight was only one issue.
And like he can redeem himself throughout this. It's just reading this book in isolation. And this Moon Knight is like in the middle of a big story.
Yeah.
This is the beginning. They're selling me on this Catwoman story.
Yeah.
This is what you pick. If there's a trade of this story, this is the book that's going to sell you on it. You're going to read this issue first to decide if you want to read that story. And there's a lot that's annoying me already. If the next issue is still Batman fighting his family, and that's an ongoing theme, I don't think I'm into that really.
No.
I don't, and for this reason.
Thankfully, we have a whole Catwoman issue to ignore for them to figure that out. So
yeah, hopefully.
By the time Batman comes back, it should be a little bit more.
There's a couple things I wanted to talk about. We talked about this book just being there to like pay service to DC.
Yeah.
One of those things is Damian.
Yeah.
He's the only character who's on Batman's side, and that's totally because there's a Batman and Robin book coming out next week. I think that's the only reason.
Yes, and also it fits. You couldn't have swapped this for Jason.
No, but you could have swapped it for Dick.
You could have swapped it for...
And I could believe Damian also buying this. Kind of.
I want to agree with you with swapping Damian for Dick, but like for story purposes it doesn't work. So
also, that was one of my favorite moments. Tim. And
totally.
This book has been Batman and Robin. This book has been about the two of them, and it's not Damian who's his Robin. Even Tim has been Batman's Robin in this Chips book.
Duke is really a Bruce guy.
Yeah.
He's really like...
I mean, Duke didn't show up in this book, even though he was in the Catwoman
which I think is a disservice, because I think it would have been Tim Duke or Damian.
Honestly?
I think all of the people that are older than that have solidified themselves and like aren't still feeding off of Bruce, but I think those three people are still emulating Bruce.
So I'm not saying it doesn't fit. I'm just saying it reads editorial.
We are saying it doesn't fit, but we're
the
gonna
Damian thing. I think that fits. That he's
that fits. That fits.
But also, and like there are things to build up on that. The whole Tom King run when they're getting married. Damian is the biggest dissenter.
Yeah.
But again, it's because there's a book coming out next week where Batman and Robin have to be kind of buddy buddy.
Yeah, and maybe. But we've been seeing consistency among the Batman books.
They're talking to each other.
Maybe there's great reason for this.
Chip, I heard an interview with Williamson. Chip, Williamson, and Tom King at least are talking all the time. Even about stuff that isn't relevant.
Because the Penguin book is coming right out of Chip's run on Batman.
Oh.
The Penguin book is a payoff of Penguin living his life outside of Gotham. Because he's supposed to be dead, but he's not dead. Because you didn't read any of the friggin' backups in the Chip story.
I know what happened to Penguin. I didn't know that. I thought this was Penguin Origin by Tom King.
I could be wrong, but I'm confident that it's.
You're probably right.
Because I believe
I haven't read that issue. I just assumed because Tom King miniseries, it's its own thing.
Yeah.
That would make sense.
I'm pretty sure.
It's all building on that Penguin Catwoman story.
So if you're interested, read Penguin. Tom King's a great writer. But why should you pick up this Batman book? It's starting a new story. If you're a Catwoman fan, there's some great stuff in it. There's amazing homage art-wise to a lot of Batman stuff that came before it. The art is good in the book in general. Chip Zdarsky's setting up a story that's going to go on for a long time, so if you're in it for the long haul, you're definitely going to get some rewards out of reading it.
Yeah.
The man just came off of doing one of the most epic stories on Daredevil probably ever. So he's definitely got the capabilities. He's proven himself as a writer over and over and over again. The book is $5, and you get like 30 pages or more of Batman.
Right, yeah.
They chopped
the backup makes this book feel much better.
There's so much.
There was more content in that. We had so much to chop up.
Yeah.
Because this book was longer, a lot of stuff happened. There was some stuff we didn't like, which also could produce us to talk longer. But there was a lot that happened.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a reason why this was the last one. Like, even after talking about how much we dislike the Bat family, Jorge Jimenez and Chip Zdarsky are such a well-married team at this point. Maybe not married is the word I should use. Well-working team at this point that they can deliver us a great product even if Teenie Howard is ruining.
Yeah, no, I really...
And Teenie, you have my apologies if you see this. I think you're a great person and a decent writer. You gotta get the fuck off my Batman books.
Yeah, I've read a Teenie Howard book or two that I liked.
Go back over to X-Men. Go back over to like Rick and Morty or something. Go back. We love you. You're doing great. Get away from my Batman books.
I just don't like when...
I think it's X Factor.
Go write X Factor 94.
Write X Factor 94. You got anything to leave off on here, Chris? Got any ending notes? This is a pretty good week in comics.
I want to talk about Jason
overall.
And how Batman, because I feel like a running theme throughout Batman throughout this last couple decades is that Batman and Jason have a very off relationship.
Yeah.
And in this book,
It's more like I know what you're
destroyed, because he has two lines. This one is he says to himself, "I created a mass murderer in Jason." That's a little harsh. He's thinking of him
He's not
like
wrong though, and I've never heard him say that.
maybe
He's not wrong.
Honestly, I can't think of anyone Jason has killed in the New 52 continuity.
I could say that he attempted to kill Bane.
Yeah, he tried to kill Penguin too, but Penguin lived.
And I'm sure he's made some mistakes in his past. There's definitely at least.
And then
He kills more than one person.
says this to Jason: "If you think one death is fine, if it stops more death, shouldn't I kill you?" That's nuts.
He's losing it.
Which is, again, Chip is writing a Batman who's losing it. Zernar and Batman, they're this close to becoming the same person. It works. It's just like, holy crap.
Batman's off the deep end, and I'm
And
into
then
it.
his opening monologue I wrote down because I fucking loved it. It was awesome. Roland Garner, dead in my streets. Nobody dies tonight, but that doesn't mean you won't still feel pain. He's playing off the writers of past. That's such a Frank Miller year one line. If there's anything that's consistent, I think Chip writes the best Batman I've read since Snyder. I love his voice for Batman. I like everything he's a little bit more emotional, which I dig.
Yeah.
I do like that I don't like that he loses some of the like superhero aspect. He's very detective and brooding.
Yeah.
You lose a lot of the Cape Crusader and the Batman dynamic.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like a
But
hero.
I think he
as
just
much.
seems sick.
He seems more like Batman.
Yeah.
Than a hero than usual. He's also not teaming with the Justice League, and he doesn't have to be the responsible one.
No.
So,
At least not right now.
you know, and look how responsible he was, like fighting Failsafe. Like he really did pull that out. He did. Chip set him up as, I'm still writing Batman. This is still Batman. Just bear with me.
Yeah.
I'm going somewhere.
And like in retrospect, that arc is like, this is prime Batman before I break him down.
The dude like fell from the moon or something.
Yes.
And it was fine. So
Shit's crazy.
Like a fucking asteroid.
And then like 2 issues later, he gets stabbed by a mugger when he's in like that alternate future.
Lost his hand.
Yeah.
Anyway, I think that about wraps us up.
Yeah, that was all I wanted to say.
Weekly Wednesday Warrior. You know what? Let me add one more thing before here. This is the longest we've gone without Alfred in the main Batman comic book.
Yeah,
And
probably since Alfred was introduced.
And
there is a 10-year period of time where Alfred isn't around yet. He's a later addition.
And he's
but he's been the most necessary addition.
Very
perhaps
important.
more so than anyone but Robin.
And we've noticed his
Fuck,
non-existence.
let's get rid of Robin. Every Batman movie has Alfred in it. Not most of those Batman movies have Alfred. They all have Alfred
You
in
need
it.
Alfred. So, Alfred not being there, being this rock, this unwavering rock, is no help to Bruce. He's out of his home. He's in some apartment.
Yeah.
He's been terrorized for 8 months in his nightmares.
He's disconnected from his family.
Terrorized by
Even
the
before the story.
multiverse prior to that. Prior to that, he was in 3 different wars on the streets of Gotham.
Yeah.
Prior to that, his dad came from a different universe. Batman he's being written like Peter Parker right now a little bit.
Yeah.
Like the writers are doing nothing but ruining this guy's life. Now, usually isn't the thing. Usually with Batman, there's bad stuff happening in Gotham. Batman needs to fix Gotham.
Yeah.
No. Gotham's fine, actually, in this arc. It's Batman that needs fixing, and there's no Dr. Alfred around to help him out.
No.
And his rocks that he leans on, that we've been talking about, that he leans on, have turned on him.
Yeah.
There being no Alfred, although we're not feeling the weight of it directly, because the writers are doing such a great job with there being no Alfred, it is perhaps one of the most important parts of this, and I mentioned this before. I remember we were talking about a book where Batman goes crazy, and I was like, oh, but Alfred was world's finest.
Oh, yeah.
Where he was telling Superman like all his secrets and all that stuff, and it's because to me,
Alfred's not there.
Alfred got abducted. And he's just missing. MIA. Batman's losing. So that's a trope. That's an ongoing trope, official. When Alfred goes, so does Batman's ability to keep his moral compass.
Right.
Think we can end on that?
Yeah.
Weekly Wednesday Warriors, thanks for watching. Stay tuned to our September post of the weekly Shonen Jump coming probably in a week or two. X Factor 95 coming next week.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching.
Have a good one.